All right, what is up? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Saint Kramer. I'm with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we're gonna review the new Pixar movie Inside Out 2. The big weekend blockbuster. We'll get into all the numbers a little bit towards the end. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that, review it, give you our likes, our dislikes, our rating at the end. But before we do that, Brian, you got a quick rundown of what this one is about?
Sure. We got joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust have been running a successful operation by all accounts. However, when anxiety shows up, they're not sure how to feel. And that's all. I mean, and that's kind of what it. When you introduce anxiety, everything changes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, this one, Riley, it's the same character, same girl, and she's going through puberty. So yeah. So yeah, we'll get into all the little details and stuff like that, I'm sure, as we go along. But Brandman, we'll start off with you. What you like about Inside Out 2?
I underestimated what Inside Out could really do with its premise, and I like that they they kind of elevated things in a very effective way for the sequel, with Riley being a couple years older, a little more kind of like self-imposed pressure on her. I like that. The story was still kind of contained enough, and it was simplistic enough with her going to the 3 day hockey camp. I like that they didn't bite off too much for themselves to chew in terms of the plot. It was very self-contained, very simplistic. I thought that the voice acting, especially like from Maya Hawke and Amy Poehler, Maya Hawke being in this as Anxiety, one of the new characters, did a great job. Um, I even kind of felt like they kind of stepped their game up with some of the animation in terms of like Riley's facial expressions and emotions, that sort of thing. Um, so that was a standout for me too. Um, but Pixar's never really failed when it comes to animation, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think those were my high points for it. Like I saw it today right after work, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. What about you, Brian? I know, well, you saw it how many
I've seen
times?
it
Like legit?
3 times now, guys. I have kids, so I saw it on my birthday on Friday, right? And then I saw it on Saturday, and then I saw it on Sunday, so Father's Day. So we should go to the movie, Daddy, because it's hot. Okay, what you want to go see? Inside Out 2. Again, okay. But I will say this. So yeah, that all that money,
Yeah.
some little with me. So even some of you guys didn't watch it. I watched it enough for all of us. It's okay. Um, what I will say though is a movie like this is relatable, very relatable, and I found myself relating to it on a different level. As I get older and become more of a father, more enthralled as being this family, I see it from the parents' point of view, right? Um, when I could still see it from Riley's point of view too. Because when she's dealing with the anxiety, trying to fit in, we all try to do that. Even no matter if you're doing the work, you're doing with school, any of that stuff, it's always the same type of environment. You want to be with the cool kid, trying to figure out ways to fit in with everybody, to be like them, and not knowing exactly how to do it. Everyone feels those things too. So these emotions, these complex emotions, are something that everyone has to deal with. So it's very relatable, no matter what, no matter how old you really are. Um, I respected the way they did those things and the feelings I had with it. I'm a type of person who, while I'm watching TV shows, if something like really embarrassing or really like hard to deal with happens, I pause it. I'm so that person. I am. I can't. I'm very enthralled in stuff. I put myself in that situation, and I always have to pause it. My wife hates it. She absolutely hates it. But that's me. So a movie like this where you can understand where everyone's coming from and um having those emotions being so prevalent was really really big for me. So I enjoyed it, the entire experience a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Dude, and I was gonna say the same exact thing as you, so I don't want to repeat it, but it was definitely more for me more relatable than the first one. First one, loved it. Second one though, I thought I was able to relate to it more, and maybe it's because as an adult you deal with anxiety a lot more than just, oh, I'm happy and sad like a kid. A kid is just happy and sad. They're missing kind of the more grown up emotions that you get as you get older. So this one I think I was able to connect to on that level. And then everything else Brandman said I agree with too. One thing I was watching Zack Attack. So if you're anybody watching, go check out Zack Attack's his review on it. He did a really great job. And he had mentioned that a movie like this, you can have different audiences and each audience member gets something different. A kid will get certain things, an adult will get certain things. As a parent, though, not knowing Mickey Mouse Clubhouse 2 years ago, no idea what the hell that was. Now it's on repeat multiple hours throughout the day. When Bluefy came on, and Bluefy was Ron Funches' character. First of all, I love Ron Funches. I think he's super funny. He has just this voice that is just he's great. And him being Bluefy and watching them do that, where it's a combination of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Blue's Clues, Dora Explorer, all those toddler shows, where they talk to the screen. We were cracking. And then when he said, "Oh, Pouchy," me and my like dying laughing, because that's from the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with "Oh Toodles," and it's
Toodles.
oh my god, and it's super annoying, just like Toodles when he starts to talk. So that was so great. And then they called him out in it. They're like, "Who's he talking to?" And he's just talking to the wall. Hilarious. That was so funny. I really enjoyed that one. Like Bluefy was kind of the highlight for me. But seeing seeing some of these other characters, like nostalgia just kind of randomly peek in, and then like not yet. Maybe in like 10 years, like she's not old enough for that emotion, which is one, it's funny, but two, it's like, oh, there are emotions. They're just locked away. Yeah, it's not their time to come out, which explains where anxiety, embarrassment, envy, disgust, or is it disgust? I forgot the new ones. Like
Ennui.
They were here. Yeah. The way or with the what was her name? Wee.
Ennui.
Yeah. So I thought stuff like that was like super funny, and it was a quick little explanation that like, oh, they're always here. They're just kind of locked up in that corner room in the back, But everything with the puberty happening, where they're breaking down the walls and and then they take off midway through. It's definitely a representation of like what puberty is. It's like, you're kind of stuck in this stage for so long. They're like, oh, we'll finish fixing up the hormones later.
The sarcasm had me dying.
I was so, and then as they speak through the chasm, and then they hear like the other people hear just them being sarcastic. That was hilarious. It was so well done, and it was little things like that made this movie like be really, really great, man. Really, really great. But having most of the cast come back, most of the original ones, and having the new ones, like Brandman said, Mia Hawke did a great job. I think as Anxiety.
When Anxiety was going all over the place and couldn't, it was frozen and couldn't get off. If you really had an anxiety attack, it is so well done with that. I've had people in my life that are really important to me have anxiety attacks and be frozen and understand and not be able to articulate what it is to be that. And they did such a good job of showing how anxiety gets ramped up and how it starts off trying to get you to one place and how it takes you to another. And when you get to that frozen point and how the depression and all that stuff really takes hold and you can't get rid of it, it was so well done and articulated for a children's movie that adults can't articulate those words. Man, great job.
But we'll move on to our dislikes. Brandman, what did you not like about Inside Out 2?
There were some parts that kind of felt like a retread of the first movie, especially with joy and the rest of the emotions. It kind of felt like to an extent, kind of the same, kind of the same plot line as the first one. Them trying to get back to the HQ and reassume command and that sort of thing. Just that on like a bigger scale, I guess, with all of the emotions being ousted and all of them having to find their way back. I did also miss the presence of Bill Hader as the voice of Fear. I really liked him in the first one. Could tell immediately that wasn't him voicing Fear in this one. Yeah, I think those are my top two. Okay, sorry, that I can think of at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of the my big thing is like the plot kind of reminded me a little too much of the first in that regard.
Only thing that really kind of got with me was that they were so negative on all the new emotions. Like they were bad emotions, and I don't believe new emotions are all bad. They're not you don't understand them necessarily, but they're not bad. And they kind of made them seem like they're the bad guys, and it's not that they're bad. They just were you don't know what's going on. You're still trying to figure that out. And I thought that was one of those things that kind of bothered me a little bit, because once again, you're speaking to girls. You're speaking to girls. No, you're speaking to kids, right? You're speaking to and new emotions aren't something to be afraid of. It's something to be discussed, and open up. And I don't like the idea of that all the new ones coming in are bad. But that's in the whole movie. There's nothing to do with like anything else that's done. I think that all the acting was done. I thought the voiceovers were fine. The story I thought was fine, because the other emotions will be there, and they are trying to take over and trying to figure out all of that stuff. So I had no problem with any of those things. So that was the only thing I did. I didn't like the idea that every new emotion is bad.
Yeah, because I was getting the same thing. I was getting the same vibe that I like all these new ones coming in and they're just bad, And they were I think they were trying to make it not be like that by, oh, we want what's best for Riley. We're doing what's best for her, and they kept trying to sprinkle that in there. But I was like, they're still coming off as like the bad guy, kind of, But yeah, I do. I do agree with, for sure. But kind of going off what Brandman said, my biggest issue was, if you watch the first one and you watch the second one, I was like, oh, Joy didn't learn her lesson. Like she did not learn her lesson at all, from the first one. Because the first one, the whole thing, was she didn't like sadness, so she got rid of sadness. It was like, and that obviously doesn't work. So, and she kind of like, even she kind of, she goes, oh, everyone deserves to be here, even this little knucklehead, and kind of grab sadness. I was like, so it's like you didn't learn your lesson, because now you're taking all the unwanted memories and throwing them in the back of the mind, So I was like, you like what? No, what? It was like you didn't learn your lesson. So
They were doing that from the beginning, which I thought that was something that they finally touched on.
Yeah. So I didn't care for that part too much, So besides that, like, again, it's something like I guess they have to do, it's like there's only so many stories you get tell with emotions, trying to like, all run havoc on each other and stuff like that. But if that's the only problem, that they kind of rehash some of the story from the first one, that's fine, because the first one was great. So as long as you change it enough where it can kind of be its own story and be its own little adventure, even though the adventure is we're going out there getting something, coming back, and then hilarity.
It's gonna be the same thing, but this is the same thing. Frozen 2, the same thing. Moana 2 is going to be the same thing. That's what it is. I mean, it's 2. It's a sequel, so they're not going to they're not going to reinvent the wheel. They're just going to go, hey, this works. Let's let it work again.
Especially like these are all very popular and for the most part made a lot of money. So it makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna repeat this and just sprinkle in some of the new stuff, and it works. I can't say I'm mad at it. It worked, and it made me laugh. I had good stories and did everything it was supposed to do. So we do things a little different on the Spoiler Kings. We use the rating system with now, later, never. Now means you go run to the theater, watch it right now. Later means you wait till streaming at home, and never means just skip it altogether. Brandman, what are you giving Inside Out to?
I give this a no.
Yeah.
I can give it a now. It's good for, especially this time of year, summer season. Get out and it's a good like Saturday afternoon type in the movies. But I liked where they went with the plot. I liked where, like I said, I liked how self-contained it was. I think they kind of elevated it in a sensible way. And yeah, I just thought it worked. Like I said, it was kind of under my radar when they first announced when they first dropped the first trailer. But yeah, I ended up liking it a lot more than I expected.
Yeah. Okay. About you, Brian?
Plus, it wasn't as depressing as your average Pixar movie.
It wasn't as depressing as the first one. The first one was super depressing. Poor Bing Bong. All right, what you got, Brian?
It's a now and later. I want you to watch it in the theater and then stream it as many times as you can at home. Like, you need to watch this movie and give it a chance. If you're an adult and you don't want to talk about these kid movies because it's very kiddie for you, watch it. Realize it. Try it out. It won't be as kiddie as you think it is. It's going to be really intense. I mean, the fact that her deep dark secret went back into the vault.
That's hilarious.
Woo! Just trust me, guys. It's real. It's relatable. You were there once. You were once a teenager. You will be able to understand what's going on. And if you have kids, you're really going to understand what's going on. So this is a super now. And then after that, I want you to still watch it later because I want you to stream the hell out of it.
Yeah, same. And it's a now, man. It was so well done. It was on so many levels. I think a little kid can watch it and enjoy it. A teenager can watch it. An adult, a parent can watch it. It's just it's all across the board for everyone. And those are the best kind of animated movies. When they have the jokes that everyone on each level can understand. So it was a really fun time. I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it's just really fun one. And like you said, when it comes out, it's probably going to be on repeat for a while in my house because I didn't think my son is a little too young for the theater, but I can already tell because we have a kid, so you talk about it, it's like, oh, he's gonna like the bright colors, he's gonna like there's a lot of stuff going on that I think a little kid will like too once it's at home. Definitely go check it out. We want to hear from you guys and watching a replay. Let us know what you think about Inside Out 2. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it better than the first one? Maybe you don't feel it as much as the first one. Let us know down in the comments below. If you're watching live, appreciate all you guys in the live chat for coming and hanging out with us. But make sure you guys stick around because we're going to move on to our next topic for the night.